If you are assigned the placement faculty role, your program will associate you with specific student placements. To view them, click on the Student Placements section from your dashboard or hamburger menu. You'll have the option to view the details by placement or by course. The system will only show you the placements you are associated with. On the By Placement page, you will see a table displaying the student details, course details, placement details, site and location of placement, site and location contacts, and preceptor details for your ongoing courses. To view such information for upcoming courses, click on the Upcoming tab. To view placement information for completed placements, click on the Completed tab. You can use the filter option here to filter through the student placements. You can filter the list of placements by various placement-related criteria. After you have made your selections, click on the Save button. Associated filters are sticky. After you select a filter option, leave, and come back to this page, these filters will still be applied. Click on the Review link in the rightmost column of the page to review a student's learning activities and placement information. You will be taken to a page displaying this student's placement information, learning activities, communications, and interventions for this placement. Within the Communications section, you can log any notable communications you have had with the student. You can also view past communications between you and the student. For each communication entry, you can view the title, description, follow-up information, and any uploaded documentation. You can also see who conducted the communication, the date of the communication, and the date the communication was logged. Please note that if a scheduled follow-up date has passed without any update to the communication, this date will appear in red text. If you would like to add a communication, click on the plus icon. You can then provide the relevant information such as the person who initiated the contact with the student, the mode of communication, the date, subject, and description of the encounter. You may want to upload a supporting document as well. If so, please check the supported file types and size limits and click on the Browse to Upload button. You can then select the desired document for upload. You are also able to provide follow-up information here. If you plan to conduct a follow-up, populate the plan date in the follow-up section. If the follow-up has already been conducted, enter the actual follow-up date as well. Lastly, provide a description for the follow-up communication. You are now ready to save this communication. To edit any communication entry, click on the pencil icon. You can then make changes to the communication. Save once you are finished. If you would like to delete any previous entries, click on the vertical ellipses and then select Delete. In the Interventions section, you can log interventions for when the student is not behaving appropriately. You can view any previously entered interventions here. There will be sections for open interventions and closed interventions. Open interventions are those which are currently ongoing. Closed interventions are those that have been resolved. Click on the Expand button to view the list of interventions. You can view the title, description, follow-up information, and any uploaded documentation. You can also see who conducted the intervention, the date of the intervention, and the date the intervention was logged. If you would like to edit any previously entered interventions, click on the pencil icon. If you would like to delete a previously entered intervention entry, you can use the vertical ellipses to select Delete. If you would like to add an intervention entry, click on the plus icon. You can then provide the relevant information such as the person who initiated the contact with the student, the method of contact, the date, subject, and description of the encounter. You may want to upload a supporting document as well. If so, please check the supported file types and size limits and click on the Browse to Upload button. You can then select the desired document for upload. Then indicate whether this intervention is still open or it is closed. You are also able to provide follow-up information here. Click the plus icon to add a follow-up. You can add multiple follow-ups to an intervention. If you plan to conduct a follow-up in the future, populate the plan date in the follow-up section. If the follow-up has already been conducted, enter the actual follow-up date as well. To delete a follow-up entry, you can use the trash bin icon here. Lastly, provide a description for the follow-up intervention. You are now ready to save this intervention. Here there will be a section for each individual type of learning activity, as long as the type of learning activity is activated for the course. There may be a Forms and Evaluations section, a Patient Log section, a Timesheets section, and a Time Off section. You can review any of these learning activities here. Here you can review learning activities for each specific student individually. In the Forms and Evaluations section, there will be a list of all the active forms and evaluations as well as the status of their submission. Click See More to expand the list of forms and evaluations available. Forms or evaluations can be assigned statuses such as pending review, reviewed, or in progress. In progress entries are those which the student is currently working on and will not require any action from you at this time. You will need to review and change the status of any forms or evaluations pending school review. Click on the name of the form or evaluation to view the contents of that form or evaluation. The student's submission details will appear on the left-hand side. You may need to fill in some information if you are indicated to do so. On the right-hand side, you will have the ability to select a new status and provide notes for the student. Click the Audit Log button to view the dates and times of any previous changes to the submission status. When you are ready, you can go ahead and click Update to update the status of the submission. In the Patient Logs section, you can view the number of patient logs of each specific status, as well as the total number of patient logs. Click on the See Details hyperlink to go to the patient log page for that specific placement. Here you can view all of the student's patient log entries for this clinical placement. You can use this drop-down to filter this list by submission status. On the top of the page, you will see the total number of patient logs for each status. Yellow represents pending review, red represents needs attention, and green represents approved. As a placement faculty, you have the ability to change the status of any patient log. Start by reviewing the patient logs with the pending review status. Here you can select an individual log ID to review that log. When you select a log, a window will appear with the entered log information. Review this entered information and then you can select Approve or Not Approve. Please note that if you choose not to approve a log, you will need to provide a reason to the student in the text box here. The student can then resubmit the log with your advised changes. If you would like to approve multiple logs at a time, select the checkbox for each of the logs on the left-hand side of the table, then click Approve. You can also use the Approve All Logs button to approve every log simultaneously. Lastly, click on the Export button on the far right-hand side of the page to download an Excel file containing all of the patient log information for this student's placement. In the Timesheets section, you can view the total number of timesheet hours, as well as the number of hours for each status of submission. Click on the See Details hyperlink to be taken to the timesheet page for this specific placement. Here you can review each of the timesheet entries for the student. You will see a table with all of the timesheet entries for this student's placement. The student's total number of hours will be displayed on the top of the table, and these will be categorized by the status of the submission. It is possible to view the timesheet entries entered between specific dates. To do this, click on the calendar icons and select a start date and an end date. If you would like to filter entries by status, click on the Status drop-down menu and make your selections. As a placement faculty, you will have the ability to change the status of any timesheet entry. You can start by reviewing pending review entries. You can view the contents of each timesheet entry using the table. To approve entries, click the checkbox next to the entries you would like to approve and then click Approve. You could do this for multiple entries at a time. If you would like to not approve entries, select multiple entries and provide comments for these entries using the Add Comment button. You can add the same comment for all selected entries by checking this box here. Then go ahead and click Not Approve. Please note that a comment will need to be provided before you can select Not Approve. On the far right side of the page, there will be an Audit Log button. Click on this to view the history of changes to the entry's status. You can also send entries for preceptor review by selecting the desired entries and then clicking the Resend button. This will send the preceptor an email with a link where they can review the entries. Lastly, click on the wrench icon to change the order and appearance of the columns of the table. You can delete a column using the trash bin icon and add a new one using the Add a Column button on the bottom of the list. If you would like to reorder columns, use this icon here to drag the column and reorder the table. In the Time Off section, you can view the total number of days requested off, as well as the number of days for each status of submission. Click on the See Details hyperlink to be taken to the time off page for this specific placement. This page functions similarly to the timesheet section. It is possible to view the time off entries entered between specific dates. To do this, click on the calendar icons and select a start date and an end date. If you would like to sort the time off entries by status, click on the drop-down menu and make your selections. You will need to review pending review entries. You can view the contents of each time off entry using the table. If the student has uploaded a document, click on the View Document hyperlink on the far right side of the table. To approve entries, click the checkbox next to the entries you would like to approve and then click Approve. You could do this for multiple entries at a time. If you would like not to approve an entry or entries, select the entries and provide comments for these entries using the Add Comment button. You can add the same comment for all selected entries by checking this box here. Then go ahead and click Not Approve. Please note that a comment will need to be provided before you can select Not Approve. On the By Course page, you'll see the list of courses you are associated with. Click on the type of learning activity you'd like to review. Once you do, the system will redirect you to view that specific learning activity for all the students enrolled in that course whose placements you are associated with. In the Forms and Evaluations Summary section, you can view all the forms and evaluations for each student placement you are associated with in this course. Students will be listed in rows. Scroll right to view the full list of forms and evaluations. You can also select specific forms and evaluations from the left-hand menu and easily navigate to other learning activities. This allows you to focus on one individual learning activity for a specific course. On a specific form or evaluation page, you can export the submission details of that form or evaluation using the Export button. Same as before, the button will download an Excel file containing these details. You can use the Filter option to filter the list of students by setting, status of submission, and placement faculty. You can also use the search box to search for a specific student. Some forms or evaluations may require you to distribute them to preceptors for them to complete or review them. Such forms usually involve the preceptors evaluating the student. If you have not set up auto-distribution for a form, you will need to configure the distribution manually. These forms or evaluations which require distribution will be separated from the list of other forms and evaluations in the drop-down menu. Those which require distribution will appear at the bottom of the menu. Those which do not are listed at the top. To distribute a form, select the Forms or Evaluations Distribution option from the left-hand menu. You can also navigate to this distribution page by selecting one of the distributable forms, then selecting the Initiate Distribution button. A table below will list the distributable forms, the number of placements in this course and rotation, and the distribution status. Please note that each form will be broken up into several entries if you are assigned to student placements of different rotations. There will be a form listed for each rotation in which you are assigned to a student placement. You can search for specific forms, rotations, or statuses using the search box. Select the form you would like to distribute. You can select multiple forms or rotations if you so please. Then select the Distribute button. You will then indicate if you would like to distribute this form to the preceptor added by the school and/or the preceptor added by the student. After you have made your selections, click the Continue button. The table below will show the student's name, their email address, the form name, rotation name, placement details, and preceptors added for each distribution instance. You can use the search box to search for specific students, forms, rotations, locations, or settings. You can also filter this list of distribution instances by setting or placement faculty. Be sure to click the Apply button once you are finished. Select each specific distribution instance you would like to continue with and select the preceptor you would like to distribute the form to for each instance. Then click the Compose Email button. You can review the recipient addresses on the left-hand side of the page. When you are ready, click on the Next button. Here you can select from your previously added email templates or upload a new one. Click on the drop-down menu to select a previously created template. You can also use the Add Template button to create a new one. You will then need to provide a name for the template, the subject for the email, and the body of the email template. In the body, you can use merge fields displayed in right-hand side of the window to automatically populate the email with the indicated information. After you are done creating a template, click Save. You can now use this template. If you would like to delete any previously created templates, click on the template dropdown and then click on the trash bin icon. After you have selected a template, click on the Preview button. In the Preview section, you can view a preview of the sent email in the left-hand side of the window. When you are ready, indicate if you would like to send the email now or at a later date. If you choose to send the email later, click on the calendar icon and provide a date and time. Then click Send to distribute this form or evaluation. Back on the form or evaluation distribution page, the status of the distribution will either change to partially distributed or fully distributed. If every student placement has at least one distribution instance for the form, the status will be fully distributed. If only a few of the student placements have an instance of the distribution of this form, then the status will be partially distributed. Click on the View History button in the Action column to view this form's distribution history. The table will display the form name, the associated student, the recipient and their email address, the delivery status, the person who distributed the form, and the date it was distributed or the date it was scheduled for each distribution instance. If the email has not yet been sent, the distribution status will appear as in progress. Refresh the page after a few seconds and the status will be updated. If a form has been delivered successfully, the status will appear as delivered. If the preceptor clicked on the link to complete the form or evaluation, the status will appear as link clicked. Hover over the icon next to the distribution status for more information on when the link was clicked. If the email was not successfully delivered, the status of the distribution instance will be dropped. This may mean the email you have on file for the preceptor may be incorrect. If you are having consistent issues with the delivery of these form distributions, please reach out to our support team at v4support@exxat.com. Click on the View button to view the email that was delivered. If you no longer would like the preceptor to have access to this form, click on the Remove Form Access button. You would want to revoke access if, for example, you accidentally distributed the form to the wrong person. You can also click Get Form Link if you would like to send the link to the form outside of the Exxat system. You can also use this link to check what the preceptor will complete on the form. In the Patient Log section, there will be a table containing all of the students placed in the course along with their total number of logs and the number of logs categorized by status. On the top of the page, you will see the number of students who have pending review or needs attention patient logs. Click on a status in a student row to view their logs of that status. You can then review these logs just as you had done in the By Placement section. If you would like to export an Excel file containing all of the patient log information for this course, click on the Export icon. Click on the Statistics icon on the right-hand side of the page to view a detailed statistics report for the student's completed patient logs for that placement. In the Timesheet section, there will be a table containing all of the students placed in the course and their number of hours categorized by status. If you would like to export an Excel file containing all of the timesheet information for this course, click on the Export icon. Click on a status in a student row to view their timesheet entries of that status. You can then review these entries just as you had done in the By Placement section. In the Time Off section, there will be a table containing all of the students placed in the course and their number of requested days off, categorized by status. Please note that a student will only appear on the list if they have submitted time off requests. Click on a status in a student row to view their time off entries of that status. You can then review these entries just as you had done in the By Placement section. Thank you for watching our Reviewing Student Placements guide. Please take the time to check out our other helpful Exxat Prism user guides.